Good evening, good afternoon, good morning from wherever you're joining us today for this session of the Africa Football Business Show. An intriguing topic we are here to unpack today, not your usual. It's been a long time since we discussed technology on the Africa Football Business Show. And we are really happy to be joined by Dr. Lingling Liu and Kristian Portz. And I will perhaps this time round let our guests introduce themselves and what's their connection to football or what they're up to now to when it comes to blockchain, and then we'll go into the topic. So we'll start with you, Dr. Lingling.
Thank you very much, Brian. It's an honor to be on the Africa Football Business Show together with Kristian from NFT Maker. It's a really pleasure to be here talking about what blockchain is, what blockchain can do for sports, especially football. And I came from media background. And for the last 20 years, I was very much involved in football business. I also have a great connection, attachment with Africa, because back in 2010, I was actually the FIFA media officer at in Africa, in Bloemfontein in South Africa. And actually, the music that Brian played earlier actually really reminded me of all these wonderful times back in Africa, and also my journey together with the FIFA World Cup trophy tour. Over to you, Kristian.
Yeah, happy to be here. Thank you for the invitation, and it's great to partner with both of you, because we at NMKR, we try to make the Cardano blockchain accessible. By doing that, we want to enable people across the world to use the Cardano blockchain in their favor. It's a disruptive tool, and blockchain overall is wonderful to find business cases, find new structures of making business. And I think football is beloved sport around the globe and especially in Africa. So I think it's a great way to introduce blockchain and NFT technology to a lot of people.
Excellent, Kristian. So, welcome to this edition of the Africa Football Business Show, blockchain technology and the opportunities for African sports. I think, for the sake of our audiences, yes, we've been hearing a lot about blockchain, especially about cryptocurrencies, and now there's more and more news about NFTs and what sports organizations are trying to do. I mean, there's just so much in terms of these terms going around. And I will perhaps ask you, Kristian, just to give us a brief overview, perhaps starting with some definitions. What is blockchain technology? And then just give us definitions of a few of the terms around blockchain technology so that we can set a scene for the show today, help our viewers to understand what we are talking about.
Yes, sure. So I think it's good if we start with the NFT technology, because I think the NFT projects that the most of us have heard about are all those apes and rhinos and monkeys. And this is why a lot of people cannot make sense why those NFTs had such a hype this year and especially last year, and why it is something where a lot of people say, okay, this is disruptive technology and it has the power to change the world. So an NFT is a non-fungible token. That means it only exists once on the internet, and it can't be copied. It's clearly identifiable, and if you are the owner of the NFT, you can prove this by using the blockchain technology. And that's something, if we don't think about monkeys and apes, but we think about identities or entry tickets, that's something that's really, really beautiful. And one of the projects we are supporting at the moment is Book.io. And I think it's a beautiful, beautiful example how to use the blockchain technology in a very good way. Because what they are doing is they say, okay, all of us are used to read ebooks, but you buy an ebook, you put it on your Kindle, and then you read it, and then you can't do anything with it. But if those books are NFTs, you can buy them, you can read those books, then you can resell them on the secondary market. And the buyer knows exactly what he or she is getting because it's on the blockchain. And by doing that, you can get some money back. You can give it as a present to someone else. And the author and the publisher, they get their 10% royalties as well. So it's beautiful, disruptive. I think that's a beautiful use case for NFTs and blockchain technology overall.
Excellent. And over to you, Dr. Lingling. And I hope we're going to talk about now decentralized autonomous organizations. You've recently founded the SportsDAO. What inspired you to start the SportsDAO? And if you can share with us what makes this idea unique or this initiative that you have special.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Brian. And also just follow what Kristian mentioned earlier about Book.io. I'm also a very big fan of Book.io. I bought a couple of books from them, and I think it's a very destructive way of changing the whole publishing industry. And what SportsDAO wants to do is also to bring at least a little bit change to the football industry or sports industry in general. So how I started my journey. So early last year, I began to provide some consultancy for a cryptocurrency exchange platform in football sponsorship negotiation and strategy. And since then, I became extremely interested in all those sports sponsor deals in the crypto world. And I just found out while many cryptocurrency businesses use sports as brand exposure platforms, most sports governing bodies and asset owners have quite limited knowledge about crypto or what blockchain can do for them. And So that actually remains a mystery. And for some governing bodies that have some idea about what the blockchain can do for them, they tend to keep their steps very slow, using very conservative approach. And many of the NFT projects that I have looked at are probably for a lot of them for flipping purposes, and with little or no real adoptions to solve real world problems. And so early this year, I managed to help Binance to become the official sponsor for the 2021 African Cup. And I just couldn't wait to incorporate my own business and start SportsDAO early this year. And the same with Kristian. I'm a firm believer in Cardano and also in the concept of DAO, which is decentralized autonomous organizations. And what I want to share here is that coincidentally, that DAO is also a Chinese word, meaning the principles and the way of doing the things right. So thinking about working in the sports industry for more than 30 years and also have all these first-hand knowledge of the industry's opportunities and also the challenges, I think the DAO, especially empowered by blockchain technology, will make changes and solving problems for our industry. That is the vision of SportsDAO. That's why I'm here with you guys.
Excellent. And as you're talking with Kristian, I think we had the chat the other day. I think it's important that we try to understand what are some of these problems that we have in the sports industry, and how can blockchain helps us to resolve these problems. I think Dr. Lingling, for example, in bringing Binance to AFCON, that's one part of the problem probably solved in terms of financing or sponsorship. And in this case, Binance was just looking to expand their brand or to grow in the African market, which was successful. But as again you point out, there's some real problems that need to resolve. Bringing you in, Kristian, for example, Africa at the moment, even globally, we are struggling when it comes to governance. Sports governance has been a problem, and a lot of these football organizations that we talk about at international, at national level, have challenges with transparency, accountability in how they run their affairs. How do you think blockchain can help solve this kind of problem? Perhaps while you're at it, you can also just share more about Cardano. We know it's in the blockchain space, but perhaps some of our viewers might be interested in this community that is Cardano and why it's practical for you.
Okay, I will start to elaborate on Cardano first, because I think that's an important point. You're right. So why did we choose to start on Cardano? Our CEO is a computer scientist, and he wanted to go with the best tech. The best tech is not always the fastest tech to be developed, and that's why Cardano was not the first blockchain to launch, but it definitely has the best tech. The second important thing is that the whole team at NMKR, we believe in sustainability. So we wanted to choose a third-generation blockchain that's at the same time scalable, because we wanted to make a blockchain accessible that can give benefits to businesses worldwide, to make thousands of NFTs every day. So that was something where we said, okay, that has to be in an environmental friendly way, because we have to take care of our planet. The third very important reason for us to join Cardano was the transaction fee. Because, for example, if you go to other blockchains, you have to pay 10%, 20%, 30% of the price for the NFT as a transaction fee on top. And on Cardano, those fees are a percentage of those prices of other blockchain, and it stays the same no matter if you sell an NFT for 10 ADA, our native cryptocurrency, or for 1,000 ADA. Now, having all of this in mind, how can blockchain help you to govern sports in Africa? There are different ways, and we launched a couple of weeks ago our government tool at NMKR, where you can distribute tokens to token holders, to members of a community, of a club. With those tokens, each token has one vote. So if you have 1,000 members in your club and you give them one token each, you can make you can put something for vote on your website, and you have a clear way of doing it, and a safe way, because there's no one counting the votes. There's no one paying someone, bribing someone else, hey, please vote for me, because that's done by the blockchain. Everyone has one vote, and it's decentralized, and it's anonymous, and at the same time, you can make sure that no one votes twice. Having that said, I think another big topic is how to prove your identity, how to prove for which football club you're playing or whatever sports you're in. That's something, if you have your footballer license on the blockchain as well, and you send it to the club you're playing for, this club can prove that this player is playing for this club. And because this NFT only exists once, no other club can claim that you're playing that you're claiming for this club. And that's something that can take away a lot of issues in regards to proving who's who and how you can create an overall voting process.
Excellent. And now I think you're going into the realm of how resources, for example, are distributed within the football ecosystem. For example, here in Africa, one of the challenges we face is that if I can say, our record keeping is not very robust. It's not very strong, especially at the grassroots level. Of course, that's where all our players are coming from and being transferred up to the elite level, be it within the continent or outside. And I'm just thinking, can also the blockchain, for example, help in tracking this movement of players and ensuring that resources, in this case financial resources, get to the very bottom of the pyramid, as we like to call it? What's your thought, and are there any use cases that you have come across that could fit this scenario?
Yes, definitely. So if you imagine if you would like to buy a player from another club, how can you make sure that the money gets where it has to get, and that not 10 middlemen get a part of this? And this is what blockchain actually is structured for. Because if we go with the identity NFT I mentioned before, so okay, this player is of this age, he's played for those clubs, and those informations are all in the metadata of the NFT, and you have a picture of the player. And then you say, okay, I would like to make an offer to buy this player, to the player and to the club. You can say, okay, and I'm willing to pay, let's say, $10,000 for this player. If the club the player is playing for at the moment agrees to that, you can build a smart contract. And what you say is, okay, the smart contract says, if you send $10,000 and the other side sends the identity NFT to this smart contract, it gets triggered and the assets get swapped. And that's how you can make sure that there is no bank system, there's no one in the middle to make this transaction happen. Of course, you can't use US dollars. You have to use from Cardano ADA, for example, cryptocurrency, but everything else is the same. On the side of the club, you can say then, okay, we put in additional information in the smart contract, because not 100% of the ADA goes to the club owner, but 10% goes to the player, 10% goes to the agent, and 80% goes to the club. And that's distributed automatically by the blockchain as well. So it's a very smart way to cut out all of those middlemen needed at the moment.
Okay, I mean, these promises to be groundbreaking, to be really game changing in terms of, for example, cutting off a lot of in the intermediaries. We know this is for example, resulted in a lot of exploitation, not just of players, but also of the clubs, which do not benefit from the players that they develop. Some really technical stuff coming in there, which I think will take us time to understand. So just stepping back a bit and bringing back Dr. Lingling. At SportsDAO, you have set out to empower sports organization to use blockchain, and by empowering, I think that is even more needed at the grassroots level, where people have limited resources, limited access to technology, for example, to finances. But from a SportsDAO perspective, what are some of the challenges you've encountered in setting up SportsDAO, and what do you foresee in the short term, medium term, in terms of your growth and direction? I think you're on mute.
I just want to follow what Kristian mentioned earlier about what changes can be made due to all these blockchain technology. What I have realized that is there are many sports organizations, actually, they don't have that strategy, or they don't have that knowledge to embrace the technology or the strategy, while the blockchain related businesses, they don't have the access to sports. So that's how I identify the gaps or the opportunities for SportsDAO. But before we explore all these business opportunities, I also want to mention a little bit further about what is blockchain strategy, what is Web3, and by clarifying, Web 1, Web 2, and Web 3. So basically, when we talk about Web 1, is that you can read, right? And you can go to internet, you can read. And what actually made lots of changes in the past 10 years is because the technology of Web 2, where people can not only read, but also write. And the innovation of blockchain strategy, or the technology that brought to what we call now the Web 3, is actually we can give back all these big data that now is owned by big media companies, and also use all these big data to monetize these things back to the real owners. That's how we identify, or how we see the potential changes or the opportunities for the industry itself. As to the SportsDAO, the challenges, and of course, because we're in such an early industry, so everything can be quite challenging, and we need to bring the right people on board. We also need to keep educating, or being educated, what blockchain is, what the technology can do, and basically you need more and more use cases, and that's also together with Kristian, we would like to explore the opportunities with the African, basically Football Foundation, and also its grassroots programs.
Excellent. I think for us here at Football Foundation for Africa, we also very much keen on exploring and seeing where blockchain can help improve the situation in grassroots football, especially in unlocking resources that can help grassroots football to develop themselves. And I think this is part of what we call the empowerment journey. The things that Kristian has just talked about, when all these things can be automated through smart contracts and through education. Various organizations, grassroots sports organizations, can understand how much value they can derive from the ecosystem, then we will begin to see a change. Coming back to you again, Kristian, what has been? I noted that NMKR was only founded, I think, in 2021, but there's been tremendous growth by NMKR. What's the reason behind it? These great growth. Of course, you've mentioned best tech by deciding on Cardano, sustainability, and also transaction fees. But what has been the reason behind this success outside of these three factors? Perhaps from a more soft approach, because you have talked about coming into the sports space or the football space is one of the surest ways as well that you can be able to grow your user base a lot faster, and we are looking forward to that. But why NMKR and why Cardano?
So I think everyone, or a lot of people around the globe, love football, and that's a good thing. Because if you talk about football, you already have the emotions and the passion, and that's when people pay attention to what change can bring to the system. We at NMKR, we have a clear philosophy that we say we never ask for an upfront fee. We never ask for upfront money, because we want to enable people to grow by themselves. And if you have a business idea or a creative idea, if you're an artist or a brand or a big corporation, you sometimes don't have the resources to pay someone to introduce you to a new technology. And what Dr. Lingling explained so well beforehand, it's a new technology. It's Web3, and blockchain is part of this Web3 internet now. So we want to enable people to join the Cardano blockchain and make the Cardano blockchain accessible. And I think that's, to answer your question, that's a big part of our growth throughout the last 12 months of time. Because people can use our technology without worrying about, can I pay the rent next month because I have to spend €1,000 to get started? No, you don't. All you need is a clear vision for your project and a great approach and a great network. So once you got started, your success is our success. Then we get our small fee by every NFT we mint for you through our system on your own website. And I think that's coming back to my point from the beginning, connecting that with football. Having access to football is where we can make the Cardano blockchain accessible for millions and billions of people, especially in Africa, to make a change in the game, to make it more trustworthy, to make it more secure, and at the same time, we don't ask for an upfront fee. And I think that's a clear benefit of Cardano, and it's a clear benefit choosing NMKR.
Yeah, I think, and we are probably the first in Africa, if I can say that, as an organization, and we are glad to be working with the SportsDAO and NMKR in designing, coming up with NFTs for the inaugural Africa Football Business Summit, which is only 1 week away from today. Really excited about this, though it's been quite a journey to get here. And we are looking forward to see what this will look like, because that's the other challenge we have. You know, you hear about NFTs and clubs getting into these NFT or partnering with Web3 companies and coming up with NFTs and fan tokens. But for those who will be attending the Africa Football Business Summit, or those who will be following the inaugural Africa Football Business Summit, you have an opportunity to interact or to see firsthand what it means to have to own an NFT and what the utility is for this. And probably you can also just give us a few comments on this, because we have seen a lot of clubs, especially in Europe and the more developed sports economies, partnering with Web3 companies to come up with fan tokens. How is this going to impact the football ecosystem going forward globally?
So you can, as any technology, you can approach blockchain and NFT technology in different ways. And what we have seen so far is a money-driven way. So how can we make money with what we have done already? So What I've seen, and I'm not dropping names here, but what I've seen is like favorite moments, fantastic goals from the past are now available as NFTs. Please give us a lot of money to get this as an NFT. So those clubs, those leagues, they don't have any effort to create it because it's already done, right? The goal is scored, and now you can purchase it, and they have an easy way to put it on the blockchain. So that's the money-driven approach. But what NMKR is out there to do is to make a change to the overall system. So we will explain in detail to you what blockchain can do, what NFTs can do, and then we would love to brainstorm with everyone together. And this is how it makes sense to get to this change. If clubs can make money with it, create a new revenue stream by having a system in place where you use, for example, NFTs as entry tickets to your stadium, that's different, because then you have a secure way for a secure secondary marketplace, right? A ticket is a ticket, and you can't fake it on the blockchain. So it's disruptive for the secondary market, for corruptions on the secondary market, and at the same time, it's a benefit for the club, because you don't have to print those tickets anymore. You don't need people who are selling those tickets, because you can automate it. And I think there is the real benefit for clubs in Africa to use their technology, not only in Africa, all around the world, in a way that makes sense and that is the foundation for trust and security.
Excellent. I think probably something I haven't mentioned. One of the organizations that will be attending the summit here in Nairobi is BAM Ticketing, and it's actually based on they base their technology on the blockchain. So it would be interesting to explore some of these synergies and see the kind of solutions we can come up with for the future. I really like that a shift from a money-driven approach to a value-driven approach where we can always monetize afterwards. And to you, Dr. Ling, what are you doing to get people to use or invest in your project? What do you have in terms of a growth strategy? I know FFA is probably one of the early adopters because of the conversations we have had with you, and the shared vision that we have for improving the sports ecosystem in Africa, the football ecosystem in Africa. But what's in your growth strategy, Dr. Lingling, having just founded SportsDAO this year?
Yeah, I think our vision for the future of blockchain, like Cardano, is that the decentralized technology can solve the real world problems. And I think that's also the reason that NFT Maker would like to work with us, because I think we share the same vision on that. The core value of decentralization will be able to make changes in so many things in the real world, including sports. And the other thing I want to add is that there are many talks and also reforms about sports governance in recent years, but in my opinion, sports needs fundamental changes. It needs more transparency. It's while the blockchain actually can solve all these problems, and so that's the reason I set up SportsDAO, and that's also the reason I want to make changes to the sports, and also make contribution. And of course, all these changes won't happen overnight. That's why we'll probably be the pioneers to the root of DAO, and pave the way for the next generation. You got to have a mission for that.
Yeah, it's important to have a vision and a mission. Perhaps, and you've also already touched on this, on why you chose NMKR as a partner. But just to delve a bit deeper, what do you think NMKR can do for the SportsDAO and for the Football Foundation for Africa? Within the next 1 year, after the summit, what are some of the things you envision as doing in the short term, medium term with this partnership?
Yeah, I already talked about that. We share the same vision, and I'm pretty sure that Kristian also understand the challenges that we're gonna face together. But this fund actually will put us together with the Football Foundation for Africa project, and we are going to start with the Football Business Summit of Africa first, the first NFT project. And I'm pretty sure that NFT Maker will help to provide its professional service to FFA. And I also have the confidence that we'll probably bring more football project with real world adoption to Cardano as well. And so basically, I believe by working together, we'll make changes.
Yeah, I think, sorry, you can go ahead, Kristian.
I just wanted to add one point, because I think that's so right what you just said. What would you like us to focus on? Would you like us to focus on developing the tech and making it better and more accessible? Or shall we do the whole business side, how to create those things, creating a network? Would you like us to do that as well? That's why we have joined forces with the SportsDAO and with the FFA, because we think we are the best to develop the tech. We can do the business part, but it's better to partner with someone like the SportsDAO, with a fantastic network, with decades of experience in how to create those business cases in this network, right? So by partnering, everyone can focus on their core game, and this is how we can grow together faster, more efficient, and more transparent. Then collaborating and partnering with foundations like the FFA makes a lot of sense, because you have the sports, right? And you are in need of the technology, the business development, and the network to make it big. So I think the three of us working together with our companies and foundations can be the starting point of a wonderful future.
Excellent. I really like to hear that. And I just want to take a comment from one of our viewers. This is actually Eldoret FC is one of the members of the Africa Football for Development Network, which is where we really see the application of blockchain, though that is still exploring. And you can see, I look forward to partnering with SportsDAO and interactive blockchain technology in our club management and tracking player development. This is an informative and insightful show. Thank you, FFA. So I think, like you're saying, Kristian, we talked about this. Can we onboard just one club already? I think there we have a candidate in Eldoret AFC, and I will reach out to Kipto. I'm sure he'll be in Nairobi next week for the Africa Football Business Summit, and we really look forward to see what can be done. As we come to an end, I know with this kind of topic, even for myself, it's a hard topic. Despite having an IT background, it takes a lot of going back and understanding the technologies and applying the business, and we bring in the football. I'll just ask same question probably to both of you, Dr. Lingling and Kristian. What's your vision for the future of blockchain and or decentralized technologies like Cardano? And tell us what you're doing to make this future a reality. And perhaps how close is the future? You know, when you talk about the future, sometimes it sounds like a very distant thing. Yeah.
May I start?
You can start, Kristian.
Yeah.
So we had a peak of NFT and blockchain technology by autumn, winter last year. Now we are in crypto winter, right? So there are the valuation of the cryptocurrencies has gone down dramatically. There are fewer NFTs being minted. But what happened to the system is that the developers kept developing. And now we are this close to mass adoption, because now we have things like being able to pay with credit card. We have this in place, so you can purchase the NFT with your credit card. What NMKR will introduce next is something that makes it even easier to create a wallet. So you don't have to worry about how do I get crypto, and you don't have to worry about how do I get a wallet. And by solving those topics, we will get to a point in the next 12 months where we can say people don't even have to know that they're using blockchain and NFT technology, because people don't know, and then they don't care about the code beyond Netflix. They want to have a working system that's presenting them what they would like to get. And by having blockchain and NFT technology running in the background, making sure that it's trustworthy, 100% secure, scalable, and fast to sell, this is something where I think the world will be a better place. Because we can cut out all those middlemen, we can have a fairer system, and we can make voting and everything else we talked about today more accessible for everyone.
Excellent. What about you, Dr. Lingling?
The reason we love blockchain and also the reason we like Cardano is because of its real decentralization technology that's going to bring to this world and solve real world problems. I would like to quote what Nelson Mandela once said: sports have the power to change the world. With the support of technology and innovation, and I think blockchain has the power to change sports. And that's why we're here from different parts of the world talking about African sport. And it's brilliant, and we're gonna make it. Doesn't matter how long it will take, we'll make it.
This is a milestone in the game development, and also look forward to partnering in the grassroots. Big up FFA and the group for this. So yeah, some of our viewers just appreciating the conversation, and I'm sure as we go on to the implementation, we'll even have more exciting things to look forward to. Yeah, the FFA, we are always happy to explore this kind of ideas that will unlock opportunities for the grassroots. And also from very personal perspective, I think we have discussed this. I started to explore blockchain some time back, and then my interest went down. But now looking forward again to the kind of projects we can do within the football space. So always happy to bring football to the conversation where there's the tech and the business. And that is also what the Africa Football Business Show is all about. We try to focus on the governance business side of the game, empowering our audiences, educating our audiences for the betterment of African football, really. And yeah, we are on to the 45th minute. That's one half of football. And I'll just ask you to give your concluding remarks before we wrap up. We'll start with you, Dr. Lingling.
I would like to hear thank you, Brian, for the opportunity to talk about the blockchain, and also wish the best for the African Football Business Summit. And we're gonna make it.
Excellent. Final remarks, Kristian.
NMKR is really looking forward to participate in person next week in Nairobi, and to have wonderful conversations about what's possible. And we love to dream big and then to cut it down to what's real and take it from there. So I think this is what the summit will be all about, and we can't wait to get started.
Thank you very much, Kristian Portz. So thank you very much to all who joined us today for this edition of the Africa Football Business Show, blockchain technology and the opportunities for African sports, as we gear up to the inaugural edition of the Africa Football Business Summit, which will be next week on the 18th and 19th here in Nairobi. We really look forward to this, and we hope you're going to see as many of you as possible at this show, so at the summit, and thereafter we continue with the Africa Football Business Show. Actually, we have our final episode this Thursday, so look out for it. We'll be talking to the African football diaspora. I think they're also a very key constituent when it comes to the development of the game on the continent, and also when we talk about things such as technology and what this can do in terms of connecting the various geographies and making sure that our investments in the sport actually go to where they're supposed to go. So thank you very much, and looking forward to discussing more and exploring more about blockchain technology and what it can do for for football and sports in Africa. Thank you very much, Dr. Lingling. Thank you, Kristian Portz from
Thank you.
NMKR and Dr. Leon from the SportsDAO. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.